NC Paint and Decor. Whatever your decorating needs are, paint, wallpaper or expert colour advice, we've got you covered.
When you paint by feeling, you can come home to a blooming good day. You can make any space feel like outer space. And your living room? Well, that can become an absolute blast. Change starts here. Dulux.
Ennis Electrical, best prices on appliances, huge savings on premium brands. Ennis Electrical is a family-run business who pride themselves on good customer relations. Ennis Electrical are part of Expert, one of the largest electrical retailers in Ireland.
Martin Williams Concrete Products Limited is a family-run business based in County Clare, Ireland, specialising in precast concrete solutions for a wide range of industries. Over 2 decades of experience. Established in 1998, they actively listen to customer needs and continuously research innovative ways to improve their offerings. They have a strong local reputation for reliability and customer service, deep knowledge of the building sector, which they're happy to share with clients. If you're working on a building or landscaping project and need durable, locally made concrete products, they might be worth checking out.
Talties Lissycasey, over 50 years in business, a landmark store in the heart of Clare. We have recently completed our store revamp. Come and join us and see our new seating area and taste the delights of our award-winning bakery. We also have a fully stocked off-licence in store. Don't forget our hardware department, which is a full range of products for your DIY needs. Talties Lissycasey, cater for all your needs.
The Zimmer Biomet Park Kissogue for the first of this year's TUS Clare Senior Football semi-finals. It's Eire versus Lissycasey. It's a sun-drenched Francis Street here in Ennis this evening for what should be a game that will light up Park Kissogue. And once again, to David Hoey and your team, lads, we doff whatever hats and scarves and whatever else we have to you, because the place looks immaculate. You'll see that in just a moment. Two teams, I suppose, that are on very, very different journeys. Eire looking to retain Jack Daly, Lissycasey hoping to get it for the second time. Indeed, they haven't been back in the decider since they won their title back in 2007. Big opportunity for the horse to lead his men over that hurdle here this evening. For the new Clare coach, it's Shane Daniels, of course, in charge of the Townies on his first year, and looking to follow in the footsteps of his new boss and his old boss, Paul Madden, in guiding them back to the final. An intriguing game in store, and our match analyst with us this evening is Kieran Madigan. Kieran, a lot of people have Eire as heavy favourites in this contest, but if there's one thing we know, semi-finals don't always go to script.
No, absolutely not. And look, you would have to have Eire as the favourites, what they've done and the way they've continued to build their panel over the years, even after losing a couple of players. But yeah, they're certainly heavy favourites, but it's not really about the performance today. And while we all want to see a good game of football, it's all about the result. Semi-finals are for winning. You know, no one really worry about how you performed if you can get over the line and get to the big day in the county final.
And we, of course, have to acknowledge that it is a day tinged with sadness for the O'Brien family here in Ennis, of course, and we'll hear a moment's silence indeed before the game gets underway this evening. So it can't be easy, I suppose, for the squad, the management, for, I suppose, Darren and the O'Brien family. Darren, of course, crucial here the last day against Milltown, getting that goal late on the sad passing of his brother, indeed. So we extend our sympathies to Bob and all the family, indeed. We know them well. They're colleagues of us here beside us in the camera gantry right throughout the game, so we are thinking of them here this evening. And I suppose for Eire, I suppose the challenge is to maybe harness that. I don't know, do you forget about it, or do you just say, look at lads, we have to go and win a game of football and then we have to support our teammate after that?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I suppose at the end of the day it is only a game of football, but those players have to try and kind of put that out of their mind for the next 60 minutes. Obviously they'll all be there for Darren, after this, and he, as you said, he was a crucial player. He was the match winner the last game against Milltown, a superb goal to put the daylight between the teams, and indeed last week in the county hurling semi-final as well. He's a superb player in both codes, and he's, if you talk just the football side of things, he's a huge loss for them today. But I know that they'll be thinking of him, and once this game is over, that's what the great thing about the GA, they'll all be there for him, and I'm sure all the other clubs will be as well.
Absolutely, as I said, we do keep them in our thoughts here this evening, very much so. Speaking of that then, let's quickly run you through our teams, and we'll begin with the men to our right hand side in the maroon jerseys here this evening. The men of Lissycasey, led by Aidan Horse Maloney. They have Thomas Collins in goal, named a cornerback, but I will eat my own hat if he's there, is Mikey O'Neill. Their captain Ryan Griffin, and Aaron Killeen wears number 4. Defensive anchor at number 6 is Conor Meany. It's Dara Hill and Dara Killeen providing the width. Matt Shea and Darren Keane bring the youth and experience at midfield. It's Luke Griffin, Dara Culligan and Shane Griffin across a youthful half-forward line for Lissycasey. Plenty of experience from Conor Finucane, likewise with Aaron Griffin, and the very exciting newly rated Diarmuid McMahon wears the number 14 jersey. For Shane Daniels Townies, it's Cian Howard in goal, Darren Maroney, Aaron Fitzgerald and Dean Ryan in the full back line. Wearing number 6 is Gavin Doria. Kieran Russell and Manus Doherty bring plenty speed and experience to the 5 and 7 jerseys. Middle of the field, David McNamara, and wearing number 23, named at midfield, will be Ronan Lanigan. It's Gavin Murray, Luke Pine and Oren Cahill in the half-forward line for Eire, with an inside line that has plenty ability to do plenty damage. Ika Maguire, Colm Walsh and Mark McInerney. 2 intriguing 15s, Kieran. Intriguing matchups that could and should develop over the course of this contest. It really is set up for a game that's going to keep us engrossed.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be very interesting to see who picks up the marquee forwards on either side. There's top class forwards on display today. You're looking at Eire with Colm Walsh and Mark McInerney and what they've scored throughout the championship so far. Like Mark McInerney going for top scorer again, 322 on the board so far throughout the championship, and Colm Walsh with 312. But look, Lissycasey are probably the next best team in the county with marquee forwards. They have quality all over the place. Dara Culligan, I think he has 19 points kicked in the championship, and then you've got the exciting Diarmuid McMahon. He's a superstar in the making, and I'm sure we're going to see him in the county jersey for many years to come. And then you're waiting for a big performance from Aaron Griffin, who's a Clare star, and we haven't seen him hit the heights yet this year in the championship, and it could be today that maybe he might do that.
I was just thinking about this game this morning and thinking about where are the real strengths from an Eire perspective, and you look at that central axis of Aaron Fitz, Gavin Doria, David McNamara, Luke Pine and Colm Walsh. Like, there's just such strength and pace there. So then you think, okay, well, can Lissycasey go and attack the wings? Can they find that depth out wide? And we'll just pause on those thoughts in just a moment, because I see the Eire squad just down here to our left hand side are lining up to observe that moment's silence, and we'll do likewise here as well. They're on the 45 metre line down here to our left hand side, Lissycasey, with the horse just issuing the last final instructions. And indeed, as I was walking out past the dressing room there a while ago, Megan Downs of Clare, who's their SNC coach, was barking the instructions as well. But we'll just listen in for the details on that moment's silence. And as we say, send our sympathies and thoughts to the O'Brien family, and in particular Darren and Bob, who we know well from the these settings here in Park Kissogue. Agus Anish in Park Kissogue, Oran Navian will be sung live as it has been across these knockout championship games. And to give you the details of who's going to do that, it is Eva Nimalia of Pelnaman Fergus Rovers who will be giving us the national anthem. Mahu Eva, a fantastic rendition of Oran Navian here in Park Kissogue as we get ready to see who will be the first team lining up behind the Tulla Pipe Band in a couple of weeks' time, with Jack Daly sitting on the Ard Corla here underneath us. One of the refereeing team over here has just taken a tumble out over some of the bags. I think that's Chris Maguire, who just had an unexpected meeting with the Cusack Park carpet here at the moment. Our referee will be Niall Quinn. Robbie Hart refereed the intermediate semi-final down in Clarecastle. We'll talk about that at half time as Curra Finn went to the decider, where they'll play Clare, who in the last couple of moments has seen off the challenge of the banner. So that's our intermediate final pairing, Curra Finn versus Clare. West meets North, Joe Cahill meets Joe Gary, and all that goes with it. And what a final that promises to be. Right now we're focused out here in front of us. Brian Pine Tiles, our commentary sponsors, and it will be Ika Maguire wearing 13 and Shane Griffin wearing 12. They know each other from the Clare setup, and they'll know each other very shortly here as well. Mark McInerney on one sideline waiting this throw-in, so plenty matchups as we say. Luke Pine versus Conor Meany, that'll be a good one, and a couple of more to come as well. Mikey O'Neill has gone up here in towards a centre-back position right now as the ball goes up, and it's Ika Maguire who gets it off towards Kieran Russell. Good tracking back there from Matt O'Shea. Ball drops here in front of us. It's Luke Griffin gets down it, wins that first free. Across comes Matt to take it quickly. Shane Griffin, the dancing feet just behind the 65 metre line, gets the ball all the way across. We're watching the three up, and Kieran is watching matchups, and Aaron Griffin is watching the ball. It's in his hands right now, far side of the ground, going towards the pairing of Darren Maroney and indeed Ronan Lanigan as well. But Lissycasey still holding on to the ball, just setting up this first attack of the contest. Conor Meany on the 65 metre line gets the call across outside here wide from Shane Griffin. Kieran Russell is moving across the 45 between that and the arc, and he's watching Shane Griffin coming towards him right now. Again, gets the hand pass away. That's Conor Finucane, left hand side. Dean Ryan and Kieran Russell both there. Across comes Aaron Griffin, trying to break the tackle in along the 21 metre line. Has the ball. Ickham goes out to interview him, gives the ball back instead to Shane Griffin. Mikey O'Neill gets the ball up and plays it all the way across towards Matt Shea. Sustained period of possession here from a Lissycasey point of view in these opening couple of minutes. A minute just gone on the clock right now, with Darren Keane recycling the ball far side of the pitch. This is what Lissycasey will try to do: pull Eire left and right, and then try and see can they get some joy down the flanks as Shane Griffin takes it on. Dean Ryan says, come my way, let's see how we can deal with it. Plays it inside towards Diarmuid McMahon, back to O'Neill once again. It's cagey stuff, Kieran, in this opening 90 seconds.
Yeah, it is, and the matchups are very interesting. You know, you see Diarmuid McMahon has been picked up by Aaron Fitzgerald. He's following him everywhere. Ickham is taking up Aaron Griffin, and Dean Ryan is following Conor Finucane everywhere. And then you have Manus out, and he's chasing the sharpshooter Derek Culligan. So the matchups are very interesting. Expect them to change over the hour, but that's how they've started so far. Yeah, there's an element of rope-a-dope as well in the way that Eire defend, in that when they get that ball from you, they are gone in the blink of an eye. We saw that in particular with Darren's goal against Milton here the last day. As we watch Shane Griffin with the ball right now, there's calls for Niall Quinn, perhaps that the ball might have been touched on the ground, but off goes Shane Griffin. He's unperturbed by that. Familiar stance from the horse below on the sideline, stoic as you like, with the hands folded and the white cap on the top of the head. Derek Killeen, man of course with those Kilmurray Bricken connections as well, across to Conor Meany, gets a runner off the shoulder, and the former Luke Griffin goes by him, doesn't take the dummy run to Conor Finucane, stepping in off the sideline. Kieran Russell going with him. We have played 2 minutes of this game. Eire have yet to get their hands on the ball. That's the reality of it, as we watch the rescue helicopter going overhead.
It's a Rogue trying to rescue the ball right now, but it is still a lovely little shimmy there from Mikey O'Neill. Solos the ball across the 45 metre line. They're starving a Rogue of possession. They're not making any great inroads, but at least they're not conceding, I suppose.
No, I think they're playing it over and back across the field. They're trying to draw them out, create an opening and get one of their marquee forwards on the ball, and Aaron Griffin's on the ball now and he's trying to force an opening. Yeah, did clever there as well, didn't he? Went into contact with Gavin Murray, who just pulled out of it on time to not let Niall Quinn's whistle blow again. It's slow enough build up from a Lissycasey perspective. There seems to be a little bit of pace in it at times, but it's just slowing it down then as Conor Meany goes across the 45 metre line. Luke Griffin made the angled run just to try and pull Kieran Russell out of position as much as anything else, as Derek Lean is out between the 65 and 45 metre lines again, goes out to his right hand side. It's still Lissycasey in possession with Matt Shea. He's on the 65 metre line. There's interested spectators to our right hand side. That would be the 3v3 on the other side of the pitch, and right now they can't do anything because the ball is over here and, well, they're not allowed play. No, they're just standing up. They have a good view of us now, really. Mark McInerney's been picked up by Dara Hill inside there. It's just, look, it's a very patient opening from Lissycasey, and they probably need that. You know, they don't want to give away a ball and concede an easy score and put themselves on the back foot. So they're just trying to, you know, ease their way into the game and have a good sustained spell of possession. Coming up on 4 minutes played, and it's still an Rogue man to have any time on the possession right now, as we're watching Conor Finucane from Lissycasey just behind the 45 metre line. Everybody now is pulled to this left hand flank. It's very, very open on the far side, so you get the feeling that the Rogue squeeze is going to come on very shortly, and they have to transfer the ball all the way across, and they do that. That's Darren Keane going for a gander down the far side of Parkis Oak, threads a lovely little ball through. Lovely shimmy there from the star of the last day, Derek Culligan. He's going to have the first shot from just inside the arc, and the ball is going to go bouncing out over the end line to the left hand side and wide. First kick out now for the Townies as Keane Howard races out to get the ball on the tee. 4.5 minutes played. Yeah, and we're going to be interested in the midfield battle, you know, especially Darren O'Brien missing out of there as well, but that's getting a very easy one off there to Luke Pine. Oh, what a brilliant run from Luke Pine down to this right hand channel, and off go the red jerseys of the men from Rogue. Long ball inside towards Mark McInerney, goes way beyond him, tidied up back there by Aaron Killeen, and he finds Dara wearing that number 7 jersey right hand side of the pitch, and well, for those couple of seconds Rogue were in possession. Lissycasey have taken it off them once again, and as Kieran said, this is exactly what the underdog would have wanted to do. Not let Rogue flex their muscles, not let them put them to bed too early, but as I say that, they'll lose possession, and now they do have an opportunity on the far side of the ground. Darren Moroney getting involved in it. Luke Pine is in oceans and oceans of space here on this right hand side. Not as much space, but he does have possession. Fouled around the head by Shane Griffin, and off he goes with the tap and go, and because he was engaged too early, free in for Rogue, dead straight in front of the post. That's experience and class coming to the fore right there. Yeah, and an experience from an inexperienced player, I suppose, in Luke Pine, and an old head and young shoulders. He did the wise thing there, you know. He took the ball into contact. Back out for a 2-point attempt. And you know, after all the possession that Lissycasey have had, if Mark McInerney turns out to kick a 2-pointer here, it's a killer, you know, because from what we've seen of Lissycasey in the first few minutes, it looks like they don't want to kick the ball in long. They don't want to give it away and get turned over and let Eire counter attack. But now there's a 2-point effort from Mark McInerney. Gentle breeze blowing in his favour as he kicks it towards the Aldi end here at Parkis Oak. It's a high looping dropping effort. It's curling as it goes, but it's staying out to the left hand side and wide, so a let off from a Lissycasey perspective. Yeah, it is. You would have expected, Mark, because I thought the wind was actually suiting him. And with the left foot kick, but this is probably going to be the first contested kick out now we're going to see, and you know, we're going to see how Lissycasey do on this one, because they definitely need to break even at least in midfield. Thomas Collins is trying to find Matt Shea. It's going to drop just up there. What a take from Matt, and he turns and faces for goal as well. Now the pace comes into the attack as it's played and transferred brilliantly from McMahon to Griffin. Aaron, that is, far side of the ground, being tracked outside there by Aaron Fitzgerald. The two Aarons meet, and this time it's the Griffin that persists with the ball and gets it back to Darren Keane, to Mikey O'Neill, transfers it from right to left all the way across here towards Luke Griffin. Now Lissycasey again, just the boys gone out of the attack, but they're holding on to the ball with Shane Griffin. Luke goes for a run to his right hand side. Conor Finucane standing back here. Maybe they're trying to get him on the ball. They are. Performed by Diarmuid McMahon. Conor Finucane with the shot. That one's going to stay out to the right hand side and wide. And I would suspect, you're given the 2 shots we've seen from Lissycasey, that breeze must be stiff enough down at that Cloister goal. Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely favouring Rogue in the first half, but it is a little bit cross field as well. And you know, Conor Finucane there, like that never turned back at all for him. He was expecting a big tail for that to curl in. But look at Lissycasey. Lissycasey will be happy enough with the start they've made. You know, they're well in the game, and look, they have as much pace as Eire have. It's just the counter-attacking ability of Eire is devastating, and you know they're mindful of that.
Matt Shea versus David McNamara is turning into a brilliant contest under the kickouts as well. McMahon gets it through here to Aaron Griffin in on the angle. Here comes Aaron. Luke Pine there with him. Aaron does get the shot away, and it goes to the right hand side, and it goes wide, and there's a follow up as well from Aaron Griffin on Luke Pine, and I think Niall Quinn is going to use discretion being the better part of valour here. He's just going to give the two of them a right good talking to and say, lads, we're only 8 minutes into this semi-final here. Don't do anything stupid. Don't make me make a decision.
Yeah, I think just a bit of frustration on Aaron Griffin's part. Look, that's 3 wides from Lissycasey at the moment for all their possession. They need to get a score to settle things down. It was a great opportunity for Aaron. It opened up. It looked like there was a goal chance on, but when he turned back, he should have at least got the point, and he will be disappointed with that.
3 attacks for Lissycasey, no scores on the board just yet. Indeed, no score for anybody. We've played 8.5 minutes here between Eire and Lissycasey, and it is the Eire men now who have time to just spend a little bit of time on the ball, and it's Dean Ryan who gave it to Gavin Dory on that occasion. Down the far side of the pitch we go with Manus Doherty, again just spreading it wide as they try and work it across this near side of the pitch. Gavin Dory linking up with McNamara again, and now Oren Cahill, big strong middle third player this fella is. He's just right now on halfway, gets the call behind him from David McNamara, another one of those on the dual front from an Eire perspective. Ronan Lanigan back into the starting lineup. He goes for a run towards the 45 metre line, lays it off to his left hand side. Oh, that's a beautiful ball in front of Mark McInerney, bends down to his toes to pick it up, gets it onto his left boot, and he opens the scoring for us here in Páirc Kissoge. 9 minutes gone, classy score from Mark McInerney. But watch the setup of that. He just actually leaned into his attacker, used the contact to create the separation. Off he went. That gave him the time to pick the ball up from his toes and clip it between the post.
Yeah, that was a class score from Mark McInerney. Great move involving Ronan Lanigan and Darren Maroney as well, and it set Mark free. And as you said, he used his body weight to create the opening, and he was never going to miss from there.
Kick out again, aimed down towards the general direction of Matt Shea. This time it's a breaking ball that's picked up by Mark McInerney. Out it comes towards Ronan Lanigan. And there's good news on the rugby front as well today from a Clare perspective. Innes have started off their AIL campaign with a brilliant come from behind win above in Tullow. They were 12 points down at one stage. They came back and won it late on. A fantastic start for Garrett O'Hanlon's side. A fantastic start here for Ricky Maguire. He's bearing down on goal. He's on the 13. He's inside it indeed. He's still there. What a block. Was it a leg block? Referee says no. There was a genuine attempt to get the ball. It's not one of those where you saw a leg thrown out across. Just a brilliant bit of defensive work back there, but Ike Maguire in the blink of an eye can leave you for dead.
That's what Ickham does, Derek. You know, he's devastating once he gets on the ball. He's just unstoppable when he runs straight down the heart at a team like that. And he created that open, all his own work, and it was a very, very good goal opportunity. But it was a fantastic block as well. I think it was Dara Hill that blocked it, and he's kept his team in the game, because if Eire get an early goal like that, it can get away from you.
Shane Griffin trying to make sure that they can respond to that Mark McInerney point as he goes down this left-hand channel again, gives it back out to Diarmuid McMahon. A snap kind of a finish on the spin. It is dropping inside dangerously, and Keane Howard had to deal with that at his near post and did very well indeed. It just moved in the air. Remember that Gabriel Batistuta goal for Fiorentina all those years ago against Manchester United? That kind of a spin on the ball. Let's not talk about them though. Not a great afternoon, I have to say, against Brentford. But anyway, might be a better one for Aaron Fitzgerald, wearing the number 3 jersey for Eire here in Páirc Kissoge. Gives the ball back. We have 11 minutes played, 1 point to no score. It's Eire in front, and now they look to go with Dean Ryan right through the middle. Again, he has this scampering kind of a look when he goes, and you know he wants to play a 1-2 every time. He's a nightmare for a forward to have to track.
Yeah, but most of the Eire defenders they all are comfortable on the ball. They all like to go forward. But Dean Ryan, while he might have been in and out of the team the last couple of years, he's a star again, you know. This
fella is a star as well. Colin Walsh O'Loughlin sells the dummy, turns back onto his left, goes towards the post. That is just all class from a fella who I would say at this stage is unassailable in terms of a player of the championship selection. Colin Walsh O'Loughlin off the mark in Páirc Kissoge.
And if he does, it'll be 2 players of the year in a row for him, because I thought he was last year as well. I thought he was sensational, especially in the county final. He's a brilliant player, and you know, it's still a mystery to me how he wasn't part of the Clare team last year, but hopefully under his old manager he will be in the coming year.
I would say that's odds on at this point, to be honest about it, and right now so too will be Mark McInerney versus Dara Hill on the far side of the ground. Mark does eventually get it up into the left boot. Look at that, for a beautiful crossfield ball all the way into the basket for Gavin Dory. Doria, who goes off for a run on this right-hand channel. Kieran Russell with him. He loves to get up for a score. Normally does in these type of games. Russ sells the dummy. Good tackle in there, though, from Shane Griffin. Gets the ball back to ground and out over the end line. We spoke about free-scoring Eire Og defenders, but hard-working Lissycasey forwards.
Yeah, and Shane Griffin has had a very good year as well. You know, he forced his way onto the county team as the campaign went on. He's had a very good championship for Lissycasey, and he's got a couple of goals. But the fact that he tracked Kieran Russell there and got a brilliant hand in when Kieran Russell looked at odds on to get a shot away, I just thought it was brilliant defending from Shane Griffin.
Up goes Dean Ryan to try and break down that ball, but it is Conor Finucane that sends it in front of Mikey O'Neill to try and run on to, being tracked back there right now by Gavin Doria, setting the dummies off that left boot. Out to Aaron Griffin, gives it to Conor Finucane, tries to go through the contact again. Good defending from Eire Og, just holding him up, giving no option, either over carry or give us back the ball. They're the only two choices you have, and off comes Arden Fitz on this right hand side of the pitch. 2 points to no score. Eire Og leading Lissycasey here, 13 minutes played in this TUS semi-final. Hand pass there to Ike Maguero, high challenge by Diarmuid McMahon. He goes by him, gets it down the line to Arden Fitz once again. What a beautiful one-handed pick-up that was. He's looking at the post, sells the dummy, chips it inside. Colin Walsh-O'Loughlin versus Ryan Griffin. It's Colin Walsh-O'Loughlin who has the ball. He's twisting and turning every which way. He's holding on to it. If he finishes this, oh, what a block from Griffin. Fantastic, persistent defending. Just stayed standing in front of him, made sure he got his body in the way, and Matt Shea transfers the ball out to the far side of the ground to Darren Keane. Now, for all their possession, Kieran, Lissycasey need a score here nicely.
Yeah, they badly need a score. You know, like 14 minutes gone now, and they've owned the ball, but they haven't been able to get a score on the board. 3 wides, and Eire Og have come down the field and kicked their scores a lot more comfortably from a lot less possession.
Oh, what a brilliant tackle there from Gavin Doria to overturn Shane Griffin, and now Eire Og go on the attack again. Remember, whatever bit of a breeze is here in the park is certainly blowing in favour of Eire Og in this first half. A coming together there, shall we say, between two players that has left Gavin Doria on the ground, and Neil McCarthy goes in to make sure he's okay. Indeed he is. So we continue with Darren Maroney, star of the hurling championship as well. Brilliant goal in that semi-final last week. Off we go to the far side of the pitch to Manus Doherty. Still holds on to it. There's going to be a shot here from distance from out around that 2-point arc, but it's going to go all the way across to the right hand side and wide. It was Oren Cahill, I think, that was eventually taking it on. Just the breeze holding it up to the right and wide, but a kick out again to defend, and I'd imagine Thomas Collins looking for Matt Shea.
Yeah, Matt Shea, you know, he's doing well at midfield, but you know, they've lost 2 of their kickouts as well. They need to really get a grip on midfield, because Eire Og are really grown into the game now. It
becomes samey, and then it becomes kind of easy to predict and defend, doesn't it, on the kick out? You could see Matt was here in the middle, broke to the left flank, and that's exactly where the ball was going. I think we'll be talking about something similar tomorrow on the Cratloe kick out as well, and the samey nature of that at times as well. But anyway, Mark McInerney has the ball, turned it over brilliantly, and now here comes Kieran Russell storming through, flicks it off outside. Here's Manus Doherty. He loves to get a goal. Right now he gets the ball off the crossbar. It is Colin Walsh-O'Loughlin bobbling around, and then it's finished at the net. Pinball stuff as the horse kicks the straw in front of him here in frustration. It was a goal that was coming the minute Manus Doherty cut inside. Lovely weighted pass from Kieran Russell. Ball put across. Colin Walsh-O'Loughlin's initial effort blocked, fell into the square, and he just leathered his left boot at it. It went into the back of the net. Thomas Collins now has picked up some kind of a knock. He's on the ground inside in the goals as well. The physio will go in to have a look at him. Ike Maguire is having a chat with Niall Quinn. I don't think the two are related though, but go back to that goal. Just total persistence from Colin Walsh-O'Loughlin.
Yeah, it was, and look at it was Lissycasey had the ball. Eire Og turned them over and did what they do when they counter-attack. They came at them at pace. When the ball broke to Colin Walsh-O'Loughlin, it was a great block, but he followed it up back of the net with his left foot. He's 1-1 on the board already today. 3-12 before today's action kicked off. You know, and he's not even their top scorer. So it just shows the quality that they have throughout their team and the range of scoring power they have.
I think they're just checking Thomas Collins here now behind the goals to make sure that he is okay to continue. He's gone and got the tee. He'll put the ball back on it. Maybe he was just buying a bit of time to try and calm things down here. And as we said, it took 4.5 minutes for Eire Og to actually get their hands on the ball. And in the next 12 that they've played, they've kicked 1-2 without reply.
And that's not unusual in the championship. If you remember the first round against Cratloe owned the ball for 7-8 minutes, and then suddenly Eire Og got into their groove and took over. And that's the thing, you have when you have possession against them, you have to make it count.
Colin Butcher-Loughlin trying to turn provider now as he dinks the ball over the top for Gavin Murray to try and come onto, but that one just gets away from him, and it's trying to work back there is Luke Griffin. Colin Walsh is on the floor right now holding his right knee, so the Townies will indeed be hoping that he's okay to continue. Neil McCarthy's gone tearing in there to make sure he's okay. Right now it is Conor Finucane just behind his own 65 metre line, trying to carry the ball forward, jinking around, looking to see has he runners off the shoulder. He has in the form of Shane Griffin. He's just running ahead of him. Conor still running down towards the corner, eventually offloads it and gets the ball worked back here into the centre towards Mikey O'Neill on the 45 metre line. Derek Culligan is a man we need to see much more of in this contest. He's just been picked up here by Gavin Doria. Matt Shea has the ball though, far side of the ground, and it's Darren Keane. Still just that same kind of left and right approach from a Lissycasey perspective. It takes quite a bit of time to get through, and even though we only have 18 minutes played, Kieran, I don't think time is their friend right now.
No, it's not. And what's unusual from Eire today is maybe it's because of the wind factor. They're really kind of flooding inside their 45. They're keeping huge numbers back there, and they're relying on their counter-attacking ability.
Just again, ball played in, trying to hold on to that one. Conor Finucane just again offloading here to Mikey O'Neill, left hand side, almost went into contact with Russell. Down the line to Aaron Griffin, sets the feet, pulls the handbrake, wheels back around. It is Shane Griffin. Oh, the ball just got away from him, meant that he couldn't get the shot off straight away. Luke Pine goes with him. Surely he's another that Paul Madden will be contacting, or may have done already. It is Matt Shea now with the ball. Still though, Colin Butcher-Loughlin slow to get back up to his feet, just gingerly walking now on that right foot. Hopefully from the Eire perspective he'll be okay to continue. Shane Griffin is continuing now for Lissycasey down towards the Cloister goal. Again, pops the hand pass off there, being forced to play this game right out in the extremities, and it is a first opportunity there for Aaron Griffin to drop the ball inside. We'll say that's what he was doing anyway, because there wasn't a whole pile of direction on it, and Eire have just absolutely swallowed it up as Oren Cahill breaks the tackle, has the advantage coming, puts on the burners, and off he goes. They're a brilliantly conditioned side, Eire. That's one thing you'd notice. They have inter-county fitness, pace and power.
Yeah, they have. The speed they break it is unbelievable, and they're coming in waves, and it's hard to know who to pick up. When they turn you over, they're really, really devastating. But I've been watching Colin Butcher-Loughlin inside now, Derek, and he does look like he's really struggling. So the next ball that goes into him, I think, will tell a lot. Yeah, right now it's in the hands of Kieran Russell on the halfway line, just goes past it, finds Dean Ryan in a load of space on this 45. He puts it into the centre towards Luke Pine. Will he have time to settle down? He'll look at the post, off to Kitog. The ball stays out to the left and wide. They're certainly struggling with that breeze, there's no question about that. Another shot going to the left and wide. It stays 1-2 to no score, coming up on 20 minutes played. They're getting into better positions to get their shots away though, Eire. They're getting within 30 yards and they're not under pressure, whereas Lissycasey are being forced to shoot with maybe 2 or 3 men around them and forced to kick it up very high, and the wind is taking it and it's not even reaching the goals in.
Thomas Collins with the kick out, dropping it just between the 65 and halfway line. Matt Shea scrapping for it, and Mikey O'Neill picking up that breaking ball. Again, going after him there right now is Colin Butcher-Loughlin, just trying to run off that injury perhaps. Still goes Colin, tackles him high. Ball is going to be in the hands of Mikey as he takes the solo and goal. Brian Pine, Tiles and Ennis, our commentary sponsors. Ball inside, Dean Ryan, class. The forward waited, the defender attacked. That's how that turnover happened. Dean was just that bit hungrier.
Yeah, it was. Look, Diarmaid McMahon, I suppose, thought he had a little bit more time. He waited for the ball, but Dean Ryan wasn't waiting about, and he showed all his experience to get out in front. But Lissycasey are struggling to get these quality forwards on the ball. They're struggling to get any ball into Derek Culligan or Diarmaid McMahon or Conor Finucane. It's just not happening for them. The chances they're creating are too far out, and unless they can force an opening, these boys are going to be just starved of possession.
Shane Daniels looks fine and calm below the sideline right now as his team lead 1-2 to no score. 21 minutes gone here in this TUS Clare Senior Football semi-final. Of course, with Cratloe and Dura Bearfield here tomorrow, and we will also be finishing out the pairing for the Junior A final with a huge win for Killimer over Kilfenora in Quilty this afternoon. The other one sees Lissycasey play Kilmurray in Kilrush in Captain Tubridy Memorial Park from 12 o'clock. So of county final pairings are coming thick and fast here at this weekend. Ronan Lanigan coming thick and fast on the ball right now to Darren Maroney. He cuts through to the 21 and just lofts the ball over. He might as well have had is it a 9-iron, would have got that kind of loft on the ball. I have 2 golfing experts here alongside us in the gantry, but either way, found a brilliant finish to Darren Maroney. But again, if you're Lissycasey, you're kind of saying that came a little bit too easy.
Yeah, when they just are able to open them up, and that was the fear. Everyone thought that they had the forwards to take on Eire, but would they be able for defensively to stop the Eire attacks? And so far, it's not really going so well for him. Darren Maroney is having a brilliant championship. He's a new addition to this Eire team. Saw him in the hurling as well last week. He's a class player, and he chips in with scores in most games.
Ryan Griffin did something there that not many have attempted before, and that's shoving Ike Maguire off the ball, and he did indeed turn it over. Good stuff from the Lissycasey captain. Across here it comes to Mikey O'Neill. They're searching for a score before half time just to settle them into this game. 22 minutes played, Eire leading 1-3 to no score. Off we go with Shane Griffin again, but they're just kind of heading into blind corners, being forced in to go back to the wing. It's all very predictable as Conor Finucane kicks the heels and tries to go by the tackle and over carries the ball. A jump down the line here from Shane Daniels. He's seen it all in his time, both as a player and a manager, but you can see the fire he's bringing to it here this evening.
Yeah, but you could see there that Conor Finucane had no option but to take on 4 Eire defenders, and while he might beat one, you're not going to go through 4 lads the likes of Aaron Fitzgerald and Kieran Russell and these boys, so he needs more support. They need more men coming off the shoulder, and they need to get more going in the forward division.
Ike Maguire is going right now. He's still going up towards the 21 metre line. Conor Meany goes back, he lays it off to Colin Walsh-O'Loughlin. He just jinks back onto his left and off balance and off everything. He sticks another ball between the posts. That's 1-2 now for the Eire full forward as they lead 1-4 to no score.
Yeah, he looks like he's shaking off the effects of that injury he had there a while ago anyway. He's having a big influence on the game. 1-2 so far, and he's a man that comes in with big scores in games. He's kicked 7 points in the opening round. So look, he's a big player for them.
Once again, the kick out is down on top of Matt Shea. That's where the numbers gather around. Darren Keeman up for it as well, and it is eventually taken down by Derek Killeen, coming forward now for Lissycasey, trying to find space on this left flank, and does so for Shane Griffin. But again, Kieran Russell absolutely tearing back. Look at that, brilliant work from Kieran Russell, and I'd say it was the sound of his hoofs pounding across the Páirc Kisóg pitch that put Shane Griffin off. Ball went to the ground and Russell tidied it up.
Yeah, and Lissycasey are actually doing very well in their own kick out. They've won more than their fair share, but unfortunately they're not creating chances out of it.
Oh man, Astarty is about to create one. He's looking at the whites of Thomas Collins' eyes, and he pops the ball between the posts. But once again, it was such a simple score. A turnover in defence. Kieran Russell tidied it up down the line with Ike Maguire. Fantastic run by Astarty down the flanks and in on goal.
But that's trademark Eire. They sit back, they soak up the pressure, let you attack. They'll turn you over, and once they turn you over, the pace they have is just unbelievable. When Manus, Ronan Lanigan, Ickham, these players are in full flow, Kieran Russell, they're just unstoppable.
1-5 to no score. They lead Lissycasey here in this TUS senior football semi-final. Ball again out towards Matt Shea. This time it's broken down, and it's Matt has lost out there to Colin Walsh-O'Loughlin. He releases Darren Maroney down that left flank. In it goes towards Gavin Doria. 13 metres out. Go! Just across. It scraped the paint off the butt of that right hand upright, I would say, on its way out across. But again, a sweeping move. I thought the flanks was where Lissycasey could get at Eire here. How wrong was I? That's where Eire are actually launching all their platforms from.
Yeah, it is, and once they get through the middle, they're just opening them up. They're creating goal chance after goal chance, and they'll probably be very disappointed at half time that maybe they mightn't have 3 goals scored already, because they've certainly created the opportunities. That was a gilt-edged opportunity. It should have been in the back of the net. Manus in the attack before that did the right thing, putting the ball over the bar. It was a goal opportunity as well, but they're well on top now, and Lissycasey really badly need a score.
They certainly do. They need the ball to do that though, and it's Eire who are just enjoying the lion's share of it right now, with Luke Pine on that left hand channel, 45 metres out in front of the Zimmer Baim at Páirc Kisóg. Blue sign over there. He's still going with the ball. Luke Griffin is there with him. He takes him on. He goes by him. He's cutting in along towards the inline. He's still going through. Thomas Collins had to save that one. Got the hands up, stood tall and firm. It was a tight angle. Luke just threw the left boot at it. In fairness to Thomas though, stood tall for as long as he could. Got a good strong hand to it to bring it out for a 45. It has all the hallmarks of a game here that if Rogue decided we want to go to town here, it's there for them.
Yeah, it looks like it. They're opening them up at will. Luke Pine just took him on there, took on 3 Lissycasey defenders. Now, it didn't look like the opportunity was going to be there for a shot, but he threw a jink at the last second and got the shot away, and Thomas Collins did well to bat it away. But yeah, Eire are just opening them up at will here.
Again, we need a rather important thing if this game is going to resume, and that would be a size 5 O'Neill's. Surely someone brought a couple of them with them. I definitely saw a few in the warm-up anyway. That one that they had isn't good enough, they say, so they send another one in, and it'll be Mark McInerney to take this 45. Well, the clock now tells us 26 and a half minutes played. Still no score on the board for Lissycasey, as Mark McInerney thought about going short there, and Maroney had made a little run inside, but I think that was just to put the frighteners up Dara Hill and make him track him. So Mark now will settle down, the gloves hanging out of the back of the shorts. Number 15 on his back as he comes to strike this with the left boot. Has he caught the wind there? It's very, very difficult to judge. It has stayed out to the left and wide, but Eire just really, really on top here.
Yeah, they're totally controlling the game at the moment, because even though Lissycasey are doing well in the kickouts, they're turning them over, and just it's coming at them in waves. Every different player, Darren Maroney, Luke Pine, Colm Walsh-O'Loughlin, Ickham, Kieran Russell, there's trouble coming from everywhere, and I would imagine that Aidan Maloney can't wait to get his team into the dressing room at half time.
Derek Lean has the ball. They went short this time to try and retain possession, and again Colm Walsh-O'Loughlin has gone to the floor over there, so I think they've a decision to make here now. Are they going to say, look at lads, we're looking good for 2 weeks time, get him off the field, get him healthy for that contest, because he has gone down again, and Neil McCarthy once again goes scampering to the far side of the ground to check on his welfare. Right now Matt Shea has the ball for the Lissycasey men just outside the 45 metre line, gives it to his left hand side where Conor Finucane is waiting. Kieran Russell absolutely stalking him at the moment, and Lissycasey reduced to walking pace in those corners. When they come back out, there's just a bank of almost 2 threes across from an Eire perspective, just cutting out the space to goal, and I would imagine Colm Walsh-O'Loughlin's race is run just watching him down here to our right hand side. We still though watch Jeremy McMahon far side of the ground. There's Aaron Griffin coming and holding on to this ball. They need runners to come with some little bit of pace here now. We've 28 minutes gone, 1-5 Eire, no score Lissycasey. David McNamara takes a tumble, but he gets up okay on the ground again. Conor Meany has it out to Conor Finucane. Ahead of him is Darren Keane, just trying that little rope-a-dope run where he doesn't look interested, and all of a sudden then just comes to life and takes that ball around the corner out to Derek Culligan. Gets the hand pass clear into the middle it goes. That's Derek Killeen stepping up from that number 7 berth, and signalling to the bench here. I think we're going to see a change. Jack Joyce is going to come into the game, another man with the white Under Armours. He'll be placing like for like in that corner. Aaron Griffin is in the other corner of the pitch, still holding on to the ball for Lissycasey. It's been a poor enough half from an attacking return. They haven't scored yet in this game. 29 minutes gone in this first half.
Yeah, Eire are just suffocating them. You can see, look at the numbers they have inside the 45, and any time a Lissycasey player gets the ball, he's faced with 2 or 3 Eire defenders, and you know it's going to take a bit of magic to create an opening, because there's no room in there.
They might have an opportunity here from a place ball. It was good work from Darren Keane, just put his body on the line to go in between a couple of defenders, hoping that it would come, and just watching. And if we have it on our Clare GA TV stream there, we might get a look at it as well. Colm Walsh-O'Loughlin being assisted off there by Neil McCarthy and Tom Russell. He's limping rather gingerly and heavily on that right leg here, and that doesn't look like an injury. No, look, we're not medical experts and we're only looking at it from a first time, but it certainly looks like a sore one coming off the field.
Yeah, it does, and he was down for a while earlier, and I didn't think he'd be able to continue, but then the next ball came, he turned and threw Jenkins, scored a point, but he's definitely in trouble, and you'll be hoping that it's nothing too serious, because we all want to see quality players in action. You know, if they do go on to win today and they're in the county final, you certainly want to watch a player like Colm Walsh-O'Loughlin playing in that. So
Jack Joyce has made his entrance, a very, very highly rated player as well in the Eire club. He goes into that full forward line as Colm takes his time coming off here now. I just wonder if there was an old stretcher or a Queen's chair or something that would take the pressure off him actually walking off the field, but he's in 2 good pairs of hands down there with Tom Russell and Neil McCarthy.
Yeah, he's definitely in a bit of pain though, you know, and it's a long walk from the far side of the field to get off. But you know, just talking about Jack Joyce coming on, he's a very, very highly rated player. Probably if he was in any other club scene, he'd definitely be a starting player. But we've seen a few cameos from him throughout the championship, and he's kicked 4 points already in the championship without having played very, very much. So you know, he's an exciting prospect to have a look at as well. Nice
warm round of applause for Colm Walsh-O'Loughlin as he eventually reaches this near touchline. In the 29 or so minutes he was on the field, he kicked 1-2, so not a bad return for an inside forward across a whole game. He's managed it in just 1 half, but unfortunately for him, he won't be continuing. It's a free for Lissycasey, and it's eventually a score. It's Conor Finucane that has just clipped it over for their first point of this opening half. 1-5 to a single point. It's Eire in front.
Yeah, they're totally in control here. Yeah, as you say, 1-5 to a point. Aidan Maloney will certainly want to make a few changes at half time, because now they will have the elements a little bit more in their favour in the second half, but I'm sure he'll want to get them in and give them a good talking to at half time and try and change things.
Keane Howard with the restart just on the 21 metre line, looking left, looking right down the middle. Now he turns and he's going to try and go short with this one, I'd imagine, out towards the shed end here of Zimmer Biomet Park Kisog as the ball drops down. And of course Zimmer Biomet assisting with the Clare GATV stream as well as the main sponsors for this 2025 club season. It's a ball on the far side of the ground, picked up there by Oren Cahill, goes into contact with his opposite number 12, and it's a free, and he goes off with the solo and goal first time. Shane Griffin goes after him, trying to cut him down. First possession over there for Jack Joyce on that top of the left position, recycles it back around. They're all working it through the hands. It's a nice tidy little bit of play here as they try to get Luke Pine moved right into the middle. That's exactly where he's dangerous. Joyce is ahead of him, he's screaming for the ball, he wants to get involved. Kieran Russell is to his right, again there's a run made through the centre, just holding on to it there was Luke, going into contact with Ryan Griffin, trying to come across, eventually turned over. In fairness, he had probably two outlets there in terms of letting the ball off. Jack Joyce had made a run, Kieran Russell had made a run, probably took a little bit too much out of it and eventually got overturned.
He is, and I thought that maybe someone might be giving out to him, but he's actually given out to Kieran Russell for not making the run there, so he's obviously not afraid of one of the elder statesmen on the team, Luke Pine.
Brave boy giving out to Russ, I can tell you. But anyway, Diarmuid McMahon will have the ball far side of the ground to Aaron Griffin. Again, Lissycasey just need to get their big players involved. I'm talking about the likes of Dara Culligan, Aaron Griffin in particular. Those two just try and get them moved. And Mikey O'Neill has the ball. The half-time whistle blows. Temper start to fray a little bit, and lads would want to be careful here now, because it hasn't been that type of a game, shall we say. There's just a real sense of frustration. You can understand it from a Lissycasey perspective. First half really didn't go their way. They've eventually broken up. There's peacemakers aplenty in there, so that's good to see. One team will go left, one team will go right, but crucially, Kieran, one team go in 1 goal and 5 points to 1 point in front.
Yeah, Lissycasey are just going to be very disappointed, because for the amount of possession they had in the first 10 or 12 minutes, to have no return from it and to actually only kick one score from a free in the whole half is very disappointing from their point of view, because we have been talking up their forwards all week in anticipation of this game. We thought they had as good a forwards as what Eire have, and I do believe they have very good quality forwards, but there's no point having them if you can't get them on the ball.
Absolutely, it sums it up well. First half over, and Eire go to the dressing room 1-5 to a single point in front. It's been a very busy day of action, particularly across the intermediate championship, and we've loads more to talk about as well, so do stay tuned. Back shortly.
NC Paint and Decor. Whatever your decorating needs are, paint, wallpaper, or expert colour advice, we've got you covered.
When you paint by feeling, you can come home to a blooming good day. You can make any space feel like outer space. And your living room? Well, that can become an absolute blast. Change starts here. Dulux.
Ennis Electrical, best prices on appliances, huge savings on premium brands. Ennis Electrical is a family-run business who pride themselves on good customer relations. Ennis Electrical are part of Expert, one of the largest electrical retailers in Ireland.
Martin Williams Concrete Products Limited is a family-run business based in County Clare, Ireland, specialising in precast concrete solutions for a wide range of industries. Over 2 decades of experience. Established in 1998, they actively listen to customer needs and continuously research innovative ways to improve their offerings. They have a strong local reputation for reliability and customer service, deep knowledge of the building sector, which they're happy to share with clients. If you're working on a building or landscaping project and need durable, locally made concrete products, they might be worth checking out.
TUS Lissycasey, over 50 years in business, a landmark store in the heart of Clare. We have recently completed our store revamp. Come and join us and see our new seating area and taste the delights of our award-winning bakery. We also have a fully stocked off-licence in store. Don't forget our hardware department, which is a full range of products for your DIY needs. TUS Lissycasey, cater for all your needs.
Ball in front of Mark McInerney, bends down to his toes to pick it up, gets it onto his left boot, and he opens the scoring for us here in Park Kissogue. 9 minutes. O'Loughlin sells the dummy, turns back onto his left, goes towards the post. That is just all class from a fella. He loves to get a goal. Right now he gets the ball off the crossbar. Is Colm O'Loughlin bobbling around, and then it's finished at the net. Cuts through to the 21 and just lofts the ball over. He might as well have had is it a 9-iron, would have got that kind of loft on the ball. I've two golfing it towards the 21 metre line. Conor Meany goes back, he lays it off to Colm O'Loughlin. He just jinks back onto his left and off balance and off everything,
creating chances out of it.
Oh man, Doherty's about to create one. He's looking at the whites of Thomas Collins' eyes and he just pops the ball between the posts. He won't be continuing. It's a free for Lissycasey and it's eventually a score. It's Conor Finucane that has just clipped it. indeed. So just looking down there, Mikey O'Neill is being spoken to by Niall Quinn, and he gets a yellow card for that little interaction there before half time. And I think one of the Lissycasey mentors comes out just to get an explanation for it. And in fairness to Niall Quinn, I've always said it, one of the most experienced, coolest, but also communicative referees that I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah, Mikey O'Neill is under no illusions what that yellow card is for. It's been well explained to him by Niall Quinn, and look, we saw it here in front of us. Obviously it was a yellow card, no more than that, but it was a yellow card, and it was just born out of frustration more than anything, just he had the ball in his hand as the whistle went, and one of the Eire players knocked it out of his hands, and he didn't take that too kindly, but nothing more than that.
No, absolutely not. And just as Eire returned to the field for the second period here, and a word on that intermediate championship, you were in Clarecastle for Corofin and Clonegad, a yellow card as well actually for David McNamara for that same interaction. So Mikey and David both into the book, but Corofin eventually seeing off a stern challenge from Clonegad, went right down to the wire, and then in Milton just before we came on air, final pairing set up as Clare will take them on, just overcoming the banner.
Yeah, two good semi-finals, two really tight games. The game in Clarecastle with Corofin and Clonegad was a really, really good game of football. Clonegad will be very disappointed because over the hour they probably created more chances. They certainly created more goal chances, but the Corofin forward line, especially with the Cahill brothers, they were clinical, and throwing the class of Jamie Malone, it was a big difference between the two teams, and one pass he gave today with the outside of the foot was worth everything. And
that step for those first couple of shots at goal as well, my God, how we've missed that in Clare football. So he'll be hoping to help his side back to the senior ranks. Right now Wicklow Maguire hoping to help his side into another county final. He gets the ball out here to the left hand side of the pitch to Darren Maroney, 1-5 to a point. It is Eire in front here in this TUS senior football semi-final. Ronan Lanigan with the ball. Great to see him back in the starting team. He's had his injury concerns, back now though to full health, and he finds Kieran Russell far side of the pitch. Marking him out there is Shane Griffin. It pops over the top. Conor Meany goes to retrieve it. He was trying to find Gavin Murray. Good work from Conor. Brilliant breakout year for him at senior intercounty level as well, particularly that day above in Clonus, I think was his real tour de force. Ball fouled, free to Lissycasey, who need to get this moving.
Yeah, Conor Meany, as you said, really grew into the year for Clare, and it was playing more as a forward, but he plays this kind of a playmaker role from centre back for Lissycasey, and he does a very, very good job, but well able to get up the field and take a score as well.
So is this man. It's Aaron Griffin, just goes past the 45 metre line, finds Dara Culligan, gets the call behind him from Mikey O'Neill. Again, it's setting up a similar structure from an Eire point of view. It's 3-3s and Arden Fitz kind of minding the D. That's roughly how they're trying to defend their goal. David Mack is dropping back as well, so they've got an extra man in between the lines, shall we say. It's one of those tactic boards, you want to fully explain it, but difficult to do on radio though, let me tell you. But right now we can tell you Conor Finucane has the ball in that top of the left position, trying the little backdoor cut. There was Diarmuid McMahon, but it was closed off, so Conor tries one from a very, very difficult angle, but doesn't he make light of it? Conor Finucane, first point of the afternoon for Lissycasey from play. It's a second in total, both coming for Conor Finucane. Lovely score, and concern now though for Wicklow Maguire from an Eire point of view. If they lost him, this could certainly go down as an attritional kind of a game, but we'll wait for that. But good score from Conor. That's what Lissycasey need.
They badly needed to get a score like that to start it, and look, you'd say from where he was shooting from, was it the wisest decision, but it was a fantastic score, and he's a great kicker. He's kicked some fantastic scores throughout this championship. We've seen him from day one when they started against Kilmahel. He was on fire that day. I think he got 5 or 6 points, and he if you give him an opportunity, he'll definitely take it.
Wicklow Maguire now just being assessed for a head injury here underneath us. Niall Quinn just indicating that. Again, Neil McCarthy with him, bringing in the water and the ice pack to get the big man back up onto his feet. He is rather ginger though as he walks away from it, and links up again there with Conor Meany. So kick out for Keane Howard, kicks it off the left down to Darren Maroney, to Dean Ryan. This all happening inside the Eire 45 for the moment. That won't be long in changing though. Trying to jink around, trying to find that little bit of space, just still holding on to that ball. Ronan Lanigan is there as an outlet for Manus Doherty, who has gone from one sideline to the other. Gives it to the hard running Oren Cahill down this left hand side. Gavin Doria takes it now from the sideline, being matched up there at the moment by Darren Keane. Gets the hand pass back again to Manus, who was just checking the 3-up situation to see could he actually engage on that play. They do have the numbers back, and Manus goes across the halfway line just to be sure. Releases Arden Fitz, goes past the 65 up to the 45, still goes. With him there is Diarmuid McMahon, gets a little hand in, good touch from him. 3 and 14 meet in the other end of the field to where they probably should be. It is Dara Hill taking this ball clear on the 21, and there is a little bit of zip about Lissycasey now going with the solo and go. The hand pass across just about gets there, and it's being carried forward by Aaron Killeen. Up towards the middle of the field he comes to Diarmuid McMahon. He's on the halfway line to Mikey O'Neill. He's with Luke Pine around the 65, still holds on to and trying to get the step out. There was the hands of Gavin Murray. It just went by him to Darren Keane. Again, Lissycasey hugging those far touchlines. Griffin has it far side the ground, plays it inside towards Luke Griffin. Shane to Luke, back around it comes to Conor Finucane. He's an extreme top of the left right now to Darren Keane. He's out around the 45, but still on the shed side of Páirc Uisóg. Lissycasey attacking the Aldi goal here for this second half. Breeze at their back as they do. 4 minutes gone already in this second half. 1-5-2 is the scoreline. Lissycasey again, it's a similar pattern like we said to that first half, as Eire just sit back, and Matt Shano carries the ball forward, being met there by Jack Joyce at the moment. It's Aaron Griffin takes it on, facing up to Ronan Lenigan, setting the dummy, trying to go by them, instead has to recycle it back to Dara Killeen. He's on the 45 metre line. Dara Culligan was with him. He provided the Mikey O'Neill came across for a dummy run, but he didn't know it was a dummy run. He thought he was getting the ball, wasn't happy when he didn't. Dara Culligan has it, tries to clip one over the top. Oh, Luke Pine read that brilliantly. It was Dara Killeen had gone into the space behind, but Luke Pine as good at the back as he is at the front.
Yeah, Luke Pine, brilliant work rate from him back there. Saw the pass was on and read the situation perfectly, and he might be the smallest man in the field, but he went up in the air to claim that ball, and he's having a big influence on this game.
Brian Pine Tiles, of course, our commentary sponsors. Beautiful ball over there from Kieran Russell. It releases Dean Ryan bearing down on goal, back onto. That's a beautiful ball. It's curled in eventually by Mark McInerney as that ball goes straight between the posts. Dean Ryan was hanging around just making sure the cover was there. It was Mark McInerney taking it on, and that's a trademark finish from the number 15.
You know that the last 2 minutes has shown really the difference between the two teams. Eire were attacking through Aaron Fitzgerald, and Lissycasey overturned them, and I'll go back to that point in a minute.
Might have an opportunity. Shane Griffin is breaking past the 45. He's inside the arc, inside the D on the 21. Hands it off there to Diarmuid McMahon. Sells the step. Diarmuid to the shot. Oh, it hits the post. Comes back down. Culligan wide. Oh my word. Oh, that goes down as a missed opportunity. The ball hit the post. It fell to Dara Culligan. He had the net at his mercy as the ball goes to the right hand side and wide.
Yeah, it opened up. They were straight through the middle, and Diarmuid McMahon got the shot off, and it broke to Dara Culligan. And look, he really should have scored it. You know, he tried to turn back onto his left and hit it to the right hand side, and really and truly he should have just blasted
in trouble. Conor Finucane does really well to turn it over. Lissycasey might have the gander up here. Diarmuid McMahon back to Conor Finucane. Finucane steps inside. He tried to get a clever ball over the top. What a brilliant bit of defending from Aaron Fitz, and he told him about it as well as he gets the ball clear up here. Trying to attack that one is Aaron Killeen. It's turned over. Good work again from Lissycasey to Mikey O'Neill. He gets inside the cover. Ricky Maguire helps him on his way. Mikey clips a very tidy point, and this is a good period for Lissycasey that they need to build on.
Yeah, they've had a good spell now the last couple of minutes. They've created a few chances, and you know there's a bit of fight in them now. They're up for it, and if they can get a couple of more scores, we might have a game on here, because they're really putting pressure on the Eire kick out, and they turned over the last one.
The penny has dropped. Season on the line here in Páirc Uisóg. It's either prepare for a final or head to Fanny O'Dee's this evening and enjoy it without any guilt of knowing that the horse is going to be ringing you for training in the morning. Keane Howard has the ball on the 21 metre line, clips it out to this near side of the pitch. It's taken brilliantly by Oren Cahill among an absolute cluster of bodies. Mikey O'Neill puts in a late hit and goes mouthing as well. Mikey, you're on a yellow. I'd be very careful now indeed if I was you down there. And again goes for the off the ball hit on Oren Cahill, who's going after him. Discipline now is key as Arden Fitzgerald carries the ball forward up past the 45 metre line to Mark McInerney, goes past the 65 metre line. He's still going down that right hand channel. Again, there's off the ball stuff going on, but it's on the ball. Mark McInerney, son of the great Francis, on the top of the right position, turns around, gets a call behind him there from Gavin Murray, decides to go by him across to the 45 to Jack Joyce. He has Conor Meany in his immediate vicinity. He also has Ike Maguire, and best of all for him is Ronan Lanigan, who's standing on the 65 metre line. Dinks the ball into the middle. Good ball as well to Oren Cahill on the 45 metre line to Jack Joyce just outside the shooting arc. Again, Lissycasey are just watching the runners go left and right, and it's Eire happy enough to just play around with it. Ike Maguire has it between the 45 and 65. He's looking across. He's getting calls here left and right. Darren Maroney is one of them to the left, but instead he goes right down the middle, and it is Ronan Lanigan carries it forward. Now comes Mark McInerney setting the feet, setting the dummy outside of the boot. That's class. That's absolutely class from Mark McInerney. You just knew it was coming. Once the jink was sold, the rest kind of writes itself.
Yeah, and about 30 seconds before that, Aaron Fitzgerald made a run straight across the D, brought Matt Shea with him and left the gap wide open in the middle. Aaron Fitzgerald was doing nothing, only making a run to open a gap, and he opened the gap, and that's where the point came from.
Aaron Griffin with the ball. Lissycasey in need of scores. It's still a 7-point game. Matt Shea cantering through the middle, met there by Luke Pine. Talk about a physical difference. Matt Shea is still going. He's there with Gavin Doria, brought to the ground, free in on the 21 metre line. 8.5 minutes gone. It's a rogue by 7, but that could and should now, you'd imagine, be reduced to 6.
Yeah, we certainly have a contest on our hands now. At least Lissycasey, they've come out to play. You know, they're fired up, and they're really giving as good as they're getting. And we have a substitution coming on.
Cian Meany is coming in from Mikey O'Neill. Good management from the horse and his crew down there, I would suggest, because Mikey on a yellow and a little bit wound up as well. So take him out of the firing line, getting Cian Meany, who has a clean driving licence, of course, and he can put in a few more hits. So Mikey makes his way off here underneath us, and it's going to be a free for Dara Culligan to try and reduce the gap here between these teams. 1-7-3 it is right now. Gilt edge goal chance there just a couple of moments ago. Dara Culligan setting himself down. Brilliant night below, and new in for the Clare 20s against Tip that night. It very impressed him on that occasion, and he has put this ball between the posts for his first of the evening. And again, 1-7-4. Just stay in touch, keep it manageable.
Yeah, they're well in touch in the game, you know, and something like a 2-pointer now, or even a goal now, would really open up this game. And you know, I'm not saying that they're panicking by any means, but they're certainly putting a lot of pressure on them now.
But of course, champions are champions for a reason. Up goes David McNamara. Luke Pine snaps up the breaking ball, goes to ground and wins his free. Matt Shea goes in over him. Luke Pine decides to just put it out over the top of all of them to Kieran Russell, tearing down the far side of Park Kisog. Manus Doherty ahead of him. Russ is still going. Now Manus gets it in towards the 21 metre line. Manus Doherty! Oh my God, what a goal! That is why they're champions. That is why they're class. Eire with a second goal of great simplicity. A breaking ball won by Luke Pine. Quick thinking, popped it over the top for Kieran Russell. He went on his canter down the far side. Manus went with him. And as Manus did, the opening round here, Kieran, against Cratloe, a similar finish from a similar position, absolutely roofed it. What's he doing playing cornerback for Clare? 2-7-4 Eire lead.
Yeah, Manus Doherty's third goal in the championship from cornerback, and a trademark run we've seen so many times through this year with Clare and with Eire. You know, he does that, and that's what Eire do. They've just switch gears there. You know, saw Lissycasey were coming back into the game, putting a bit of pressure on them, and they said, look, we'll just show them why we're champions.
There's still 20 minutes to play, but I have a feeling it's Ihawama Cardia now at this stage. It's 2-7-4 points, 11 gone second half, and another free for Eire, which Mark McInerney is thinking about.
Yeah, look at Mark. Mark is 3 points on the board today, and you'd fancy him to get this one. He's got a fantastic left foot on him, even though the conditions are tricky now for a free taker at that side of the field. But you know, I would fancy his chances.
He's lining it up. He's about a metre outside the arc on that right hand side. Looking at the Cloister goal here in Zimmerbeim at Park Kisog. He meets it well, but no, it just drops out to the left hand side and wide. Well, if at half time, Kieran, Lissycasey were looking up at Mount Callan. They've Everest in front of them now, don't they? Yeah,
that second goal is a real killer, because they had been playing good football in the second half, but it's the quality that Eire have. You just can't switch off for a second, and unfortunately they did. It was that ball over the top, set Manus free, and they just couldn't live with it. I do think we have said that Lissycasey have plenty forwards going, you know, that can hurt Eire, but defensively they're struggling to handle this Eire attacking unit.
Luke Pine with the ball just outside the 65 metre line, meets Ronan Lanigan, and again he does this just so often. Kieran Russell is that out ball on the far side of the ground. He just canters, he owns and dominates that right wing. It's a joy to watch him in full flow.
It is, but it's, look at it, the defensive players that they have, they could be forwards in any team, you know, like Manus, Ronan Lanigan, Kieran Russell. He's just a powerful unit, isn't he?
Ball inside. It was Derek Lean read it, but we will come back for the free. Now it's inside the arc, so I suppose it seems strange to say it, but it'll only be 1 point. I suppose, thank God for small mercies.
Yeah, I think that's 1 point is probably enough for Lissycasey at this stage of the game.
So a free once again for Mark McInerney, but it's that, I mean, I know you're a huge fan of him in Luke Pine, I am as well. It's just he brings that kind of wriggly nature that's extremely hard to defend against.
Yeah, he is. And you see that, and it's no disrespect to those smaller players. They're impossible to tackle, because if you go in head high, like it's going to be a serious free given against you. But he's so comfortable on the ball and so stylish. And he dictates the game for a young fella. He's a class act.
Mark McInerney's free drop short into Thomas Collins' arms, and after a little bit of hear 'em scare 'em stuff, they eventually get the free out. But Niall Quinn says go back and take it where the foul occurred, and that's exactly what Thomas Collins will have to do. So just a little bit of lackadaisical stuff there from an Eire Og perspective, which no doubt if Shane Daniels is trying to drive these standards, he'll be picking up on all these little things.
Yeah, and you also hopefully will have a Darren O'Brien to come back into the picture if they're in a county final, and if Colin Walsh Loughlin. So there is places to fight for, and everyone out there, they can't get too comfortable because Ronan Lanigan wasn't picked to start today, but he came into the team and he's not going anywhere.
Cian Meany, the vice captain of this team, trying to drive them forward to Darren Keane, to Dara Killeen down this right hand channel, stepping inside the challenge of Gavin Murray there across to Conor Meany, being met by Ronan Lanigan, recycles it to Dara Culligan. It's kitchen sink time here now from Lissycasey as Aaron Griffin faces up to Kieran Russell, tries to go by him, gets the hand pass in at the right time. It's Griffin now that has the ball, it's Shane that is, and he turns on the spin and he does pick off a point, but Lissycasey have to work very, very hard for that, but they know themselves, Kieran, it's going to be hard work from here on in if they're going to arrest this one.
Yeah, and I don't think single pointers are going to get the job done for them. There was an opportunity there maybe to take on a 2-pointer. I know, look, it may have gone wide, but I think it's those kind of scores that are going to lift them and maybe give them a chance of getting back into the game.
2-7 to 5 points is the scoreline at the moment. We're coming up on 15 minutes gone in the next couple of seconds here in this TUS senior football semi-final, and it is Lissycasey winning that free on the far side of the ground, and Aaron Killeen, and it's back there, Jimmy McMahon working hard, just trying to pick it up, but immediately Eire Og flooding back, just cutting down the space. The kick needs to come. If the blanket is there, you just need to go over the top of it, and right now Lissycasey are just allowing those Eire Og numbers to swell inside their own 45. They have the 3 up, Kieran, everybody else 45 and back.
Yeah, but Dara Culligan had a run mid there. He was in acres of space, and that's what we were saying at half time. They have to go a bit direct.
Here comes Aaron Griffin. It'll be a 1-pointer if he manages it, and it doesn't. It goes across to the right hand side and wide. Breeze blowing in Lissycasey's favour now, and they really need to throw caution to it.
Yeah, but carrying the ball into this Eire Og defence is not going to get the job done. They're going to have to, when they turn the ball over outside and it's 3-on-3 inside, trust your forward to win the ball. Trust him to be out in front and win it and kick it in direct. At least if he wins it, there'll be space. But if you allow time for Eire Og to funnel back and fill up the inside the 45, you're not going to be able to cut through.
Cian Howard's kick out reaches the 65-metre line, beats everybody but not Cian Meany, who read that breaking ball. Mark McInerney is screaming instructions. There was a 3-up infringement here that hasn't been spotted just yet as the play continues with Conor Finucane, and he kicks an orange. So that is a little bit of a boost from a Lissycasey point of view, but there was that 3-up infringement, so are we going to come back for that? I think it's been communicated here to Niall Quinn. He's happy enough to let the play continue. 2-7 to 6 it is right now. 16 minutes gone, second half.
Yeah, and when you get a 2-point score like that and you're on a high, it's very important to win the next kick out. Win the next kick out, get a bit of spell of possession and maybe get the next point, and suddenly you may be starting to believe.
Kick out from Cian Howard is a short enough one out towards the sideline. It's broken down, and it's Dara Killeen that has it. Darren Keane making the run through the centre. In he comes on the angle, lines himself up with the post and clips over another one. Now that's 3 points in a row for Lissycasey. Little bit of momentum for them now to build on the 2 goals of the difference. 2-7 to 7 with 16 and a half gone second half.
Yeah, and we can see that they have the forwards when they go a bit more direct. They attacked the kick out there, they turned it over, went direct for goal and got to score. And they have the potential to do that, but sometimes they tend to back off.
So conversations still going on down here on the sideline, but that tends to happen in the final quarter of a championship semi-final. Cian Howard with the kick out again, dropping it down towards that 65-metre line. Who else but Kieran Russell is there to tidy things up. Oren Cahill on this left-hand channel. We will also have our Patrick Burke Menswear man of the match selection to come at the end of this contest. That's Kieran's job to decide who's getting the voucher to go in to see the lads. Oren Cahill has the ball now on the 45-metre line. Back it goes to Luke Pine and Ronan Lanigan. Between them it is Ronan now just It's slowed down to walking pace again here now for Pine. He goes by Aaron Killeen, heads for the far touchline. Killeen stays with him, advantage coming. Pine is still going, he's cutting inside the arc, bounces the ball on the D, puts it on the left boot, puts it wide. We'll come back for the free on the advantage. And this is something we had a little bit of a chat about off air, Kieran, before we came on. This new interpretation of the advantage rule. Previously, 5 seconds, you had a fair idea what it was. Now it's open to interpretation. It's kind of the referee judging the play.
Yeah, we saw it at the intermediate game today, and it can go on for 20 seconds, which but I would encourage any team to get the advantage like that, get a shot off as soon as possible and make the most of it, because it's a free shot at goal, and if you don't score it, you're back for a free.
And right now it's another free for Eire, well won between Mark McInerney and Jack Joyce just inside the D. The old D, that is, so it'll just be the 1 pointer. So 2-7 to 8. This will make it 2-8 to 8 again. 12 minutes gone, and Shane Daniels and his management team underneath us here just having a little chat to see what the story is. Shawnee Buckley, of course, the coach, just backing in the orders. And here comes Mark McInerney with the free, and as he does and has done for a long time, puts that ball straight between the posts. That's his fourth of the afternoon. It's Eire leading 2-8 to 8. We have 12 plus the additional time to go.
Yeah, and Jarlath Collins looks like he's going to make his way onto the Eire team there. He's just stripped off and ready for action. He's another player that'll be, trying to make his place on this team.
Ikem Aguero very certainly has it made. Indeed, one of the first in the team sheet, I'd say, when you're picking at Jack Joyce. The foot just went from underneath him there, did well to recover his feet and gives it back to Oren Cahill, to Ronan Lanigan, again breaking clear. Yeah, the 3 up is fine, so he's allowed to continue on into the attacking half of the pitch, and he does. Sends the ball out to the far side of the ground. Eventually Kieran Russell is there, that's who he'll eventually hand it off to, and they come in again. Now Lissycasey need to press out, but of course the danger is that when you do that, you leave the space in behind, and no better men than the lads from the town to exploit it when that happens. Kieran Russell still takes the ball into contact. Ikem goes in, soccer style, tries to flick it out, trying to pick it up. Referee says play away lads, let the battle commence, and Ryan Griffin picks it up for the Lissycasey men, sends it out here to Conor Meany. He breaks up past the 45 metre line. Darren Maroney is tearing back to get there with him. Derek Hulligan's looking up again. Oceans and oceans of space inside, now being populated by red jerseys, and so we'll go back and over again.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're saying, Derek. Conor Meany made a fantastic break, but that's when the ball needed to be delivered. Now look, you've got 12 players back from Eire inside the 45, and there's no room to break through. But if you go direct, you give yourself an opportunity, and at some stage you have to throw caution to the wind and take a chance and believe that you have quality forwards and believe that they might win their own ball.
Yeah, because all this is eating down time as well. At least if the ball is inside around the 21, there's a chance of something happening.
Yeah, exactly. You might get a break. I mean, if it's not caught clean, you might get a break, or even if they get it, you might stop them coming out and you're holding possession down there. But when you have a slow build-up like that, you just allow them to filter back, and there's absolutely no room. And look at this, the way Eire have done it. It's very professional, and they're constantly moving. They don't give you a second, but your only time is when you have a counter-attack and try and deliver quickly.
And then you've Aaron Fitzgerald inside to defend like that. Diarmuid McMahon was the outlet. He was running to the corner for the ball. Out came Aaron Fitz, got the hand on the ball and the shoulder on the shoulder at the exact same time. You just can't teach that.
No, you can't, and you can see how much it meant to him to win that ball. Like, backs take pride in winning those type of frees just as much as getting a score up the other end, and you can see that they love winning those physical battles, and they're all well able to.
Luke Pine has covered every blade of grass here in Páirc Uas Óg this afternoon, and Dean Ryan is the latest to take the ball from him as he goes for a gander and tries to find that inside line. But it's Mark McInerney who has dropped back towards the 65. Again, great communication here from the Eire lads, as David McNamara told Luke Pine, I'll step back in, up you go, and you contribute to the attack, and I'll go back here and mind Jim McMahon for a while.
Yeah, and I've seen that Dave McMahon has done it a lot. Oren Cahill has done it a lot today. They're actually barking instructions and directing things and telling players where to go, and that's kind of the unsung stuff that you don't see normally. And it's a very, very professional unit. They all know their job, and they're also quick to let everyone else know their job as well.
Off goes Manus Doherty. He doesn't know his job. He's wearing number 7. Well, that one won't live long in the memory, shall we say, but it still hasn't gone out of play, and it is now taken up by the Lissycasey men, who again, there has to be a break to this attack. Look, it's like you catch a snooker table and pour it one way as the red jerseys fly down towards the LD goal here of Páirc Uas Óg. Again, ball far side the pitch for Conor Finucane. They need to get men ahead of the ball. One of them there is Shane Griffin. He takes it on, being wrapped up by Kieran Russell, brought to ground. Good foul by Russ. Shane Griffin says, you had to do it to me, and Russ says, well, that's why I did it.
Yeah, and the difference there between the two teams, when Lissycasey attacked there, the 12 players from Eire got back. There was still 7 players from Lissycasey inside their own 45 when that attack was breaking, and that just shows who wants it more. They didn't support and get out and attack. If he wasn't going to deliver it long, they needed more numbers there to help, and they didn't do it.
Conor Finucane with a chance to put 4 between them. If he can land this 2-pointer free, it just goes to the right and wide. And for all their ails, if they'd brought it back to 4 with 8 minutes to go, you just asked a couple of questions. Luke Pine is getting a break. Jarlath Collins is the man that's going to come on, and of course his cousins and uncle will be hoping to meet him perhaps in the county final when they play for Cratloe tomorrow here against Dura Bearfield in that second semi-final. And of course what an intriguing game that will be as well. But right now at the moment it is Cian Howard with the ball inside in the Eire goal. Shawnee Buckley comes over to say a big well done to Luke Pine, and why not, what a game.
Yeah, he's been outstanding today, and as have a lot of the Eire players. You know, they haven't dropped their standards. They've kept it at top level all the way through, and you know, it's a team that are fighting for places in a final as much as anything else. 7
minutes to go with a 6-point cushion, 2-8. It's Eire in front. It's Brian Pine Tiles, our commentary sponsors, as David McNamara carries the ball across towards Ronan Lanigan. In it comes to Oren Cahill, back to Lanigan again, and it's just again the pedestrian pace at times, but that's the kind of rope-a-dope we keep talking about, because then Eire just decide to inject that little bit of pace. And look at it there, Mark McInerney trying to make the space, and he does for Ronan Lanigan. It's just all so coordinated as McInerney takes the ball on again, pulled back there by Dara Hill, puts his boot through the ball and sticks it over, but it's just within 3 or 4 little moves. Mark pulled out to make the space for Lanigan, but someone forgot to track him. He ran out ahead of him again. It's just brilliant coaching.
Yeah, it is. You can see Shawnee Buckley, the hallmark of this. There's so many dummy runs being made on the Eire team. You're making a run just to make space for someone else, and look, Ronan Lanigan played a big part in that, and Mark McInerney probably, when he made the run, he was only making space, but it ended up that the ball came to him and he got the score.
Here goes Darren Maroney, beautiful ball from Aaron Fitzgerald to find him off towards Jack Joyce, sells the dummy, realised there was men in front of him, so gives it back instead here to Oren Cahill, who will control proceedings again. Look at hands up on the far side of the ground, and one of them is Kieran Russell, demanding that ball, demanding the standards as he comes past the 45-metre line, cuts inside the arc again. There's space for him to go through, slips it outside. Just a little slip there from Jack Collins. Ball didn't go to hand, but he kept scrapping away from it, and Kieran Russell tidies it up again, gets stood up there by Ryan and by Luke Griffin, and again it's picked up, but it's Jack Joyce that has it. There was a run made in along the end line. Kieran is getting back up onto his feet again inside there. Mark McInerney has the ball on the 45-metre line, clock counting down all the time. We've exactly right now 5 minutes plus the additional time to go. 2-9 Eire, 8 points Lissycasey. Aaron Fitzgerald trying to cut through the middle, realises he might have a shot at goal, and then realises that, you know what, maybe there were better options, and I think that was the gesture he made anyway. He'll trot away back, but Eire won't be too concerned.
No, but he was probably entitled to the shot. He made a great diagonal run, cut through, found himself 25 yards out in front of goals, and he probably was entitled to the shot, and he's worked very, very hard today, so I'm sure they'll forgive him that wide.
Another man that will walk onto any starting team in the county is Niall McMahon, and he's about to make his entrance off the bench here for Eire. We've spoken about it so often. Remember, they lost Colm Walsh-Loughlin to injury after he had kicked 1-2 early in that opening half, and it hasn't perturbed them one little bit, because they've 2-9 on the board now to Lissycasey's 8 points. Darren Keane again trying to thread a ball through there, looking for Diarmuid McMahon. He has a lonesome job, Kieran, above at the top of that Christmas tree.
Yeah, he has. It's just there isn't really much ball coming into him, and what is coming isn't of the quality he needs. He's up against a serious player in Dean Ryan today. He's had a real battle on his hands, and he's fought manfully. Diarmuid McMahon, you know, he's a really good player and a big prospect for the county team, but you know, it's been a tough day when you're not getting the service. It's very hard to be influential on the game.
And when he hasn't had Dean Ryan to deal with, he has Arden Fitz, so there's much on it really. Cian Howard with the kick out, only finds Matt Shea, goes down, can't hold on to clean possession, but eventually it is tidied up by Conor Finucane. Right now Eire are 3.5 minutes away from yet another senior county final appearance. Dara Culligan with the ball for Lissycasey. They're trying to reach just their second, but right now they have a fair job of work on their hands if they're going to turn it around from here. Back it comes to Dara Culligan, looking across the line. There's a run being made by Cian Meany. He bypasses him, a dangerous ball, and in goes Kieran Russell. He read that, and soccer style away down the pitch, down towards Mark McInerney. Beautiful flick up, and they continue with that run down the far side of the ground. They're still going Eire. Oren Cahill lays it off. It's Ike Maguire now taking it on. There's a man ahead of him. That man right now was Oren Cahill. Still it's going through cross to Darren Maroney. Darren's on the 21-metre line, and that ball is between the posts, and that is a class score. And that, Kieran, is all because of the leadership drive and class of Kieran Kieran Russell.
Absolutely. He puts his body on the line every time. He doesn't care what the score is or that the game is won. The next ball is the most important ball for him, and that's what shows what Eire are all about. The way they supported and the numbers there, that showed the difference between the two teams, because even though this game is well won, they flooded forward once they got the ball and they had support options all over the place, and that's why they're in control of this game.
It was just a loose pass, because the ball that was actually, it should have been played, was the run of Conor Meany, who was coming like a train. Ball bypassed him. It was in no man's land. Russell came out, and the rest, as they say, ended up in a Darren Maroney score. Off comes Gavin Murray, on goes Aidan McGrath. Another man with championship medals in his back pocket. Like, their depth is ridiculous.
Yeah, look, 2 years ago I thought Aidan McGrath was the best centre-back in Clare football, and he was gone away for a while and he missed a lot of last year, but he'd walk onto any other team. He's a really, really good player, and the options they have on the bench is just ridiculous.
Off goes Aaron Griffin. He's on the 21 metre line. Will he try and get the kitchen sink here? He can't, because there's 5 or 6 Eire plumbers around it. He turns back onto the left boot, eventually gets the shot off to pick a point, and that's his first of the evening, and it comes in the 28th minute with the scoreline reading 2-10-9 Eire in front.
Yeah, and I suppose that shows, because if Lissycasey were going to win this game today, they were going to need a big contribution in the scoring charts from Aaron Griffin, from Diarmuid McMahon, from Dara Culligan, and the return they've had is Aaron's got his first point, Diarmuid hasn't scored, and Dara Culligan has kicked a free. So that wasn't going to be enough to get the job done, unfortunately, for them. And
it's as if to emphasise the depth, they're bringing on Philip Telty, another top-class forward who again would walk onto any other team. It's just ridiculous. But right now, Dara Culligan is going past the 45 metre line. I said this at the start of the championship. I think your Rogues bench would beat more senior teams. I think their B team would actually reach the semi-final. They're that strong, and they're proving it here this afternoon. 2-10-9. It's Matt Shea trying to break through the cover. He has a runner off the shoulder. That man is Dara Killeen. Again, the back door cut was closed off, so he has to recycle it back to Aaron Griffin. He tries from the 2-point range, and the ball just drops into the hands of Cian Howard, and management here underneath us just turn and put their hands up to heaven as if to say, this is not our day.
Yeah, I suppose it isn't. It was dropping short, a poor effort really. But look, Lissycasey will have to take the learnings from this. They've gone up against the top dogs in the county, and they'll know where they fell short. They'll certainly learn from it, and they've got time on their side, because they're a very young team, and there's a lot of quality players. But unfortunately, they've just been outclassed today.
2 minutes of additional time announced, and we're entering that in 10 seconds time. So will Philip Telty actually get on the field? I think that's the question he's asking below there right now at the moment. Mark McInerney has the ball. He's just beyond the halfway line. We'll get Kieran's man of the match selection very shortly indeed. The next time this ball goes dead, that could be full time as well. Let's wait and see. Mark McInerney giving it back here to Aaron Fitz just inside the 45 metre line. Jack Collins back to Ickham again. Eire just maybe trying to finish with this score that would take them up to the 17-point mark right now. 2-10-9 will do plenty. Manus Doherty, brilliant goal for him in that second half, and again Eire now working it just through the hands, and it's all just petering out a little bit, and Philip has the hands on the hips here underneath us, wondering will I actually get in to get some bit of a shot off, but at this stage it's kind of a done deal at the moment. Kieran, your Patrick Burke-Menzer man of the match selection.
Look, a lot of big performances on the Eire team. Been impressed with Aaron Fitzgerald and Dean Ryan, Manus Doherty. Colin Walsh-Loughlin, for the time he was on, was excellent with 1-2. And Luke Pine, I thought, was excellent. He dictated the play, but I really think my man of the match today has to be Kieran Russell.
Yeah, I agree with that selection. I think anybody listening to the commentary probably picked up on that as well. So Kieran Russell, the leader, the standard driver for the Eire men, is our Patrick Burke-Menzer man of the match selection in this TUS Clare Senior Football semi-final, which right now Eire are leading 2-10-9 points with 31:15 on the clock, and 32 is the magic number to Mark McInerney. Philip Telty's looking lonesome along the sideline. I don't know if he's going to get in before that full-time whistle is blown. Mark McInerney has the ball. 30 seconds to go in this game, so Eire looking good for a fourth final in the last 5 seasons, and Cratloe and Dura Bearfield will meet back here in Páirc Uis Óg tomorrow afternoon from 2:30 to see who will march behind the band with them in a couple of weeks' time. And for Eire, of course, Kieran, that's the 2 legs of the double in terms of getting to the final up. A couple of big weeks ahead for the county town.
Yeah, massive for them, and obviously they've had their sights on winning a hurling title with a long time. It's been over 30 years since they've won it, but they're on now for the double, and Cratloe the last team to do that. But look, at Eire are very, very well equipped to have a serious go at winning both of them.
just looking down underneath us here, we can actually see Colm Mulchalachlan in the substitutes area. Now, there's no strapping or anything done like that, but he is very, very gingerly leaving the field as the Eire supporters come on. And as we mentioned at the start, of course, a very, very poignant kind of an afternoon for them in terms of the events and the O'Brien family and thinking of all those as well. But for them, I suppose they did the job they had to do. 2-10 to 9 points, and probably never looked in any major danger at all.
No, Lissycasey had a spell maybe just after half time where they got a couple of scores on the board, but they needed to raise a green flag, and maybe that chance maybe they fell to Derek Culligan. If he had managed to get a goal there, might have maybe brought him into the game. But I just think that Eire had other gears. They were able to raise it any time Lissycasey came at them. They were able to get it going again, and any time Lissycasey got a score, Eire came down the field and got another one back. That's the kind of outfit they are, and I just thought that they were fairly comfortable, even though maybe on the scoreline it wasn't a big beating, but I thought they were comfortable. Look, Lissycasey will take a lot out of the year, and there's a lot of learnings, and they're certainly a team that are going to be contending for Jack Daly in the coming years.
Before we sign off, Kieran, who plays them in the final?
That's going to be a good game, Derek. I'm really looking forward to that one. I think that's a very evenly matched game, but I think I've learned one thing over the years of watching football: never write off Cratloe. That's the way I'll be looking at it tomorrow. Well, I think Dora Bearfield are a real coming team. They're the under-21A county champions, and they put in a superb performance the last day to knock out Kilmurray Bricken. I just can't bet against Cratloe. I just think that they have the experience, and they somehow, when they get to this stage, they're able to get the job done.
Yeah, an intriguing game back here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh tomorrow, but right now we sign off Eire 2-10 to 9 point winners. My thanks to Kieran here on analysis, to Brian and all the gang back at base, Brian Pine Tiles who are our commentary sponsors, and of course Patrick Port Menswear for his support of our man of the match this evening, going to Eire wing back and leader Kieran Russell, and also to our colleagues on Clare GA TV, of course, sponsored this year by Zimmer Biomet, and they have been great supporters right across this club campaign. More games to come tomorrow, of course. We're back here for that Cratloe game versus Dora Bearfield, but don't go anywhere. Here on Clare FM, your main evening news is on the way.
NC Paint and Decor. Whatever your decorating needs are, paint, wallpaper, or expert colour advice, we've got you covered.
When you paint by feeling, you can come home to a blooming good day. You can make any space feel like outer space. And your living room? Well, that can become an absolute blast. Change starts here. Dulux.
Ennis Electrical, best prices on appliances, huge savings on premium brands. Ennis Electrical is a family-run business who pride themselves on good customer relations. Ennis Electrical are part of Expert, one of the largest electrical retailers in Ireland.
Martin Williams Concrete Products Limited is a family-run business based in County Clare, Ireland, specialising in precast concrete solutions for a wide range of industries. Over 2 decades of experience. Established in 1998. They actively listen to customer needs and continuously research innovative ways to improve their offerings. They have a strong local reputation for reliability and customer service, deep knowledge of the building sector, which they're happy to share with clients. If you're working on a building or landscaping project and need durable, locally made concrete products, they might be worth checking out.
Talty's Lissycasey, over 50 years in business, a landmark store in the heart of Clare. We have recently completed our store revamp. Come and join us and see our new seating area and taste the delights of our award-winning bakery. We also have a fully stocked off-licence in store. Don't forget our hardware department, which is a full range of products for your DIY needs. Talty's Lissycasey, cater for all your needs.
To Mark McInerney, bends down to his toes to pick it up, gets it onto his left boot, and he opens the scoring for us here in Park Kissogue. 9 minutes. O'Loughlin sells the dummy, turns back onto his left, goes towards the post. That is just all class from a fella. He loves to get a goal. Park Kissogue. I'm delighted to have our Patrick Burke our man of the match, Kieran Russell, after reaching yet another county football final. Kieran, you're in familiar territory.
Yeah, I suppose, look, it's what we set out to do it probably at the start of the year. I'm delighted to find ourselves back here again. Something we're used to, and hopefully it's something we can take forward for the next couple of weeks. And
coming into occasions like this, I suppose, managing them and game management, it's all building experience.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's been a lot made of our younger lads this year that have come onto the panel. And they've been doing absolutely excellent. You'd swear they've been around as long as some of us have, but no, it's great. As I say, every day you go out, try to improve and gaining that experience all the time and building that small bit of momentum.
There seems to be a lot of kind of authority in those younger lads. We picked up, I think it was Luke Pine giving you a bit of a rollick in there on the far side at one stage. For all the years you've put into it, he was still able to bark it out to you.
That's the normal Pine, I'm afraid. But no, look, to be fair, I think everyone has an equal role in this team. I think that's what we've built ourselves to be. There's nobody bigger in the team, no matter who you are, what you've done. You're part of a 15 that's on the field at any given time, and everyone has to play their part, and as long as everyone does that and we win, everyone's happy.
1 to 15 is good, but 15 to 24 is equally as good. Like, you're building some depth.
Yeah, no, look, as I say, we've been building this panel for a long time. I think it was referenced a couple of times, you know. People say it's easy for us to put out big teams because you know, we've got such a big population, but up in Eire, we're quite a small community up there. We've been building nicely this panel over the last few years, and look, it's been brilliant. There's been great work done underage, and we're bearing the fruits of it now with all these young lads coming in helping us out.
You mentioned there about everybody having their role within the team. Is that how you keep the hunger going, that it's just all about the next year's job?
Yeah, I think so. It is part of it. I think maybe a few of us that have been around that bit longer, you know, we were struggling to make quarterfinals when I first came on the scene. You know, and we always, I think, had that potential to maybe start winning and getting to finals. But I think, you know, unless you're willing to work hard for it and keep pushing, you know, you don't deserve anything. You kind of have to make your own look in this situation. So. And
that work rate, you embody that all the time, Kieran, and it was the main reason you got the man of the match selection tonight as well. That right flank, you're just cantering all the time. It's work rate, work rate, work rate. Yeah, look, I think everyone brings something different to the team. I think one of my strengths is my work rate. It always has been. Maybe the legs aren't as fresh as they used to be, but no, look, it's great, as I say. We've got great legs on the team, so you know if the ball is on your side, you can put in that work, and one of the lads might give you a break for a couple of minutes then after that. But two big moments for you, setting up Manus's goal, but also the turnover here that led to Darren Maroney's point. You took a fair old clatter going for it, but it was the head that knew where the ball was going to be. Yeah, as I say, it's just one of those. I think in that sunshine, that low-lying sun, I just seen, I don't know who it was for Lissycasey, got their head up and looked over, and I just said I'll chance it and go for it, and thankfully it worked off. I didn't actually see the score at all, but I just remember I threw a boot in it and somebody must have picked it up and we ended up getting a score. But I think then with Manus as well, look, Manus is such a good defender first and foremost, but going forward, he's an absolute nightmare. I'd hate to be a forward, you know, trying to pick him up, but you know, he just made the run. All I do was carry the ball and give him a simple pass, and he done the rest. Yeah, we've seen Conor Cleary move from defence to the forwards. Maybe Manus is the key for Clare next year in that role. Yeah, I don't know, but as I say, he's such a good defender. You know, he's such a good man marker. You know, any danger men on the opposition side with Manus is always detailed. You know, and then as I say, he just gives you that extra going forward as well. You know. Is the word double going to be embraced or banned in Eire for the next 2 weeks? A bit of both, I think. Look, you can't get away from it. Look, we were lucky enough. We were in that position 3 years ago or something like that. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that time. Look, we put ourselves in a great position. We're in 2 finals. You know, the hurling final, it's a 50-50 game, and I'm sure whoever wins that game tomorrow, you know, we've already played each other once this year, twice in Bearfield's case, but. Look, it'll be nip and tuck either way. So look, it's great to be there in both finals. We'll have a chance in both, and it'll just come down to on the day. Fantastic stuff. Well done on your performance and the victory today as well. That's our man of the match, Kieran Russell. Eire against the final. It'll be either Cratloe or Dura Bearfield to join them. We'll find out that tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in here to Clare GATV. We'll talk to you then.